It's the year 2005, or maybe 2006, I'm beginning to lose track. I had met a very close friend, one who happened to be into video games. Video games? The only games like that which I've played are like arcade games. Well, what kind of video games are you playing? Oh my god, who is that? What is he doing to the Golden Gate Bridge? Who is this guy? What is this music? Oh. This event completely redirected the course of my life. I'd never seen anything remotely like Sonic Adventure 2 before. It felt so amazing to blitz through City Escape. I loved seeing these really cool characters do all sorts of shit in a story that I couldn't imagine being told in a game. The music was something I bet my mom really didn't like me listening to. And oh, the Chow were so cute. I'd literally go over to my friend's house just so we could spend all day raising our Chow, finding all sorts of secrets, reading all kinds of rumors online, occasionally creepy fake ones. Like that, I was hooked. And then my birthday rolled around, where I was greeted with this. Yeah, it was at that point that I realized Mario was a little bigger than that Super Mario Bros. Game I recalled playing. But with that, I also realized that there was more to Sonic than Sonic Adventure 2, because I played the Sonic Mega Collection, and what is this? This is nothing like Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. Where's Tails? This is really weird. That's what I thought at the time, but then I kept playing all these classic games and really loved them. I'll never forget the awesome feeling of finally teaming up with Knuckles. I'll never forget how much I felt like a sneaky hacker by inputting level select and debug codes. It was great to see how the Sonic I loved truly began. But it didn't stop there. I got Sonic Adventure DX Director's Cut, and this was more my speed. Fluid 3D controls, amazing character themes, a kinda chilling narrative, especially for someone my age, and yes, even the Chow Garden was still a thing. I loved it then, and while its problems are more apparent to me now, I still cannot let go of the respect I have for everything that game does right. I just loved those adventure games so much because they felt like they were going all out to create an incredibly fun experience for you to spend hours upon hours with. And then I played this brand new Sonic Heroes and, well, yeah, it was definitely not as good as my Golden Boy Sonic Adventure 2, but it was still really fun, really felt like Sonic. Colorful characters doing badass shit, stellar music, exciting gameplay, memorable locations, all this applies to the Sonic Advance games too. By this point, you could say that Sonic set a standard for what I enjoy about video games. Not to say that it's gotta be something exactly like the adventure era, but I love ambition, I love style, I love character, I love when games are genuine in their attempt to entice the player. It seems like a no-brainer. Yes, I like when games stand out, but really, plenty of other franchises I got into at the time could only be that way because of the impact they had on minds young and old. But then comes the era of Sonic which plenty of older fans and critics have ripped to shreds. The, and I must emphasize this, time period known to most of the general public as the Dark Age of Sonic. And I'm sure many people who watch this video will feel the same when I say that my little self couldn't really detect anything distinctly wrong with this time period. When you're like 10 and you see Sonic 06, that's basically your Sonic Adventure 3. Shadow the Hedgehog, oh my god, Shadow's got guns and the characters are swearing. Oh, this must be for the big kids. Sonic is a werehog now. Oh, well that's really interesting. I can't wait to see what... Wait, people don't like Sonic? Oh, I see. Yes, of course. I know now that Sonic 06 was a huge disaster. Secret Rings is dog shit. Shadow the Hedgehog jumped the gun and ruined the direction of a Sonic franchise as if Sonic Adventure 2 hadn't already. Why is Sonic a werewolf? That's stupid. And he's carrying around a sword now? When will it end? A hoverboard? Really? What, is Mario gonna run around with a water pump now? Oh, but thank God, Sonic 4, Sonic's True Return, yes! Sonic Colors, a simple game with power-ups and good levels, no shitty gimmicks, no terrible friend gameplay. Okay, Sonic Generations. Oh my god, Sonic is back. Sonic is back! At least that's what everyone else thinks, so surely it must be true, right? Well, not exactly. Through this education that many people my age went through, it's really how a lot of us learned about what Sonic meant to older fans and why maybe the games we liked were allegedly a betrayal to what they enjoyed. I mean, because they're older, smarter, and clearly know what they're talking about if they're making popular reviews or commentaries about these topics, well, fuck, what do I know, right? But I think people know a lot more than they're willing to say, and eventually I came to believe that it's wrong just to parrot other people's opinions when deep down down. I surely don't agree with all of them. Yes, it's good to have an understanding and maybe evaluate your own enjoyment of a game once you hear about elements it may do better or worse than you originally thought, but am I really bent up over Sonic holding a sword? No. Do I really think it's inherently wrong for them to try and tell a dramatic story with a wide array of characters? Clearly, I think the opposite. Do I think Sonic Unleashed is a terrible game? Absolutely not. But at the same time, I don't regard Shadow and 06 as good games. I think they have a ton of problems that make them unenjoyable games to play and bad stories to watch. Problems you've all heard before. I do think that the controls of Secret Rings kill an otherwise fun and unique experience. Sonic Chronicles is definitely not a game I want to play again, but I think it's important to know that while this era is called the Dark Age of Sonic because of how much of a punching bag the franchise became, that doesn't define everyone's experience with it, which leads us to current issues. After Sonic Generations, Sega released Sonic Lost World and the Sonic Boom sub-franchise, and if any of you have been following me from the very beginning, or even if you've seen me before I really began this channel, you'll know that I used to be a lot more positive about Sonic. You can gradually see that my shining optimism for my favorite series would decline. Sonic Lost World, okay, well, it's just one game, it didn't have to be exactly what everybody wanted, right? I mean, hey, it's not 06, right? Sonic Boom, it's just a side project. It's fine. Sonic Team's now taking a break as people wanted. They're making their big new game and, wait. No, we just had Generations and 4, and, well, now that I think about it, Lost World had a lot of classic imagery as well. Can we please not do that? Of course, y'all know how that story went. But even beyond that, my opinion would continue to sour. Mania and Forces finally release. Mania is heralded as the second coming of Christ, and Sonic Forces is an immeasurable disappointment. By this point, I'm just in disbelief. The now publicly enforced best Sonic game ever is, well, yeah, it's a really great game, but almost entirely on the merit that it was able to emulate raw competence present in 1994. And when I say that, I don't just mean the gameplay, I mean most of the actual content as well. That's cool and all, but Generations already fulfilled that purpose to me. In fact, it celebrates the entire franchise, not just the era the folks at Game Informer want to remember. This concept, while executed remarkably, is basically everything I wanted the 25th anniversary title not to be. You know, aside from being a poorly done game. So of course, they had to go ahead and throw that at me too. Sonic Forces was the game I optimistically waited through that entire Boom mini era for, and it literally is a 2 to 3 hour long game that I cannot stop thinking about because it just burned me that hard, and it's already been 2 years. So then, what's happened in those 2 years? Nothing. Here we go, buddy. I'm warning you right now. If you enjoyed those Adventure Era videos for their positive outlook, prepare to experience a bit of emotional whiplash, because you want to know what that secondary reason was for me initiating this whole thing? That reason is the fact that I fucking hate everything this franchise now represents. Really. Like, no joke. This is it. I cannot stand this current Sonic the Hedgehog any longer. There's no paddling around it. There's no sunshine and rainbows. No, I'm done. I'm sick of that shit. And I know that sounds so harsh. I know many of you will run up to me with, oh, but Sonic Mania, and I just don't want to hear it. Sonic Mania is the exception to the rule. It was a very nice game, but it comes at a price. Here's my beef. Until Sonic Mania, Sega hasn't been able to follow up on the success Sonic had by the time of Generations. Sonic as a whole was just more mediocrity for about 6 years. And while Sonic Mania was the next great game in line, the truth of the matter is that in the grander scheme, it was always a side project developed by a much smaller team to appeal to a very specific demographic. A good backup plan, you could say. If 2017 happened without Sonic Mania, as it originally would have, I have no idea where this franchise would be, because they've been using Mania as a crutch ever since. And like I've said before, I have a very big problem with the reliance on a game founded upon nostalgia. Not just Sega banking on it, but fans too, completely forgetting that even the Sonic Team game, Sonic Generations, didn't guarantee a positive future for this franchise either. Why should I trust that Mania, a game anybody would call an excellent ROM hack if it weren't official, will do anything different in the long term? Of course, nobody can really be certain, certain of anything. So anyway, in 2018, what did we get? Mania DLC, Mania physical release, and YouTube shorts based on Sonic Mania. I'll get back to those in a bit. You know what else we were given at the Future of Sonic panel during 2018? Certainly not a plan or roadmap of where we want this series to go after getting a feel in 2017. No, we get a teaser for a racing game that's supposed to be coming out that year. No gameplay able to be shown. And hey, wouldn't you know it, the game goes without a real release date until they eventually announce a delay at the butt end of 2018. Boy, I don't know about you guys, but I think Sega's come a long way from Sonic 06. They're finally listening to the fans and delaying the game, just as they delayed Fire and Ice an entire year to really make that game the best it could be. Delayed Mania to ensure that no... and how they released Sonic Forces in 2017, past the series anniversary in 2016, for quality assurance. Guess Sega's learned their lesson. Yep. And the game was completely forgotten about, partially due to the launch of Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled, but from what I've seen, maybe people weren't too enthralled with racing on 7 zones, 3 of which are recycled from the Sega All-Stars racing games, or graphics and assets that look rather budgeted by comparison to current and old competition, or glitches that can ruin your racing experience, or matchmaking that led my friends to quit playing after less than a week. Why, if I didn't know any better, I'd suspect that maybe the game wasn't really delayed at all and was never intended to come out in 2018, but that'd be cynical to think. So basically, after all the buzz in 2017, we haven't seen a whole lot of promise come out of Sonic since then. We had a second year, quite soon after 2015, in which no new games released, and a year which had a release that went out like a wet fart. Don't even begin with that quality over quantity shit. Do I want yearly major Sonic releases? No, I don't. But unlike the main entries of other franchises, Sonic has now proven that they can take all the time in the world and still produce a rushed and unsatisfying product. So instead of quality, I don't even get quantity. I get neither. Why must I be so resentful? Why do I not trust them after they followed up on the questionable Sonic Lost World with Sonic Forces 4 years later? I think I just answered my own question. And that's the thing, guys. There's been absolutely no sign of potential improvement in the future. When they're now trying to hype us up for 2021, the next anniversary, what the hell am I supposed to think after the last one? And moreover, we're already discussing the next anniversary because there are no games anymore. Nothing happening. And this would be good if there was a distinguishable change in attitude or priorities, but instead, we're seemingly looking at a 5-year gap filled with, and oh yes, I'm going here, memes. Ooh, it's just for social media accounts trying to have fun. I guess you hate fun now. No, I don't hate fun. Why would I hate fun? I like fun. I had fun. My favorite Sonic game, the dark and serious one, has this in it. The hell I don't like fun, you kidding me? I like the Sonic series because it was fun, but I also liked it because it had integrity and respect for itself and the audience. And while you may argue that it's just for social media trying to liven things up while the games go about their own direction, I don't see it that way at all. Not anymore. Why? This is why.
Okay, failed battle plans, old robot designs. Wow, he's got like 10 terabytes of selfies.
Tell you what, how about I challenge you to a race to see who's the best?
Challenge accepted. Although there is no challenge. Gotta go fast.
In case I'm not clear, the memes have gone from being a kinda hip thing to do on Twitter to becoming Sonic's central identity. Sonic is no longer about being cool. No longer is it geared towards teens to invoke the interest of kids. Sonic for almost a decade now has been built on this idea that it's a silly franchise made to emit bubbly laughter. Not only do you laugh with it, but at it too.
My ultimate day would consist of a nice 2 handfuls of coffee beans in the morning, followed by a playthrough of the world's greatest video game,
Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric?
It screams, how do you do, fellow kids, and all it serves to do is distract you from how little this franchise has to consistently offer. And that leads me to the next point, which I'm sure many people will not be happy with, but I'm a little past the point of caring. I want you guys to take a look at this tweet I saw the other day. This tweet is entirely correct, but for me, maybe not in the way it was intended. Sonic the Hedgehog is being carried right now. Carried on the success of Sonic Mania, but beyond that, carried by Tyson Hesse and his associates. Now, I have a lot of respect for Tyson. The dude is a talented artist, I know he has a passion for Sonic. Of all notable figures in the Sonic community, I really do feel that he genuinely loves his job and the Sonic franchise. If I were in his shoes, I'd say my wildest dreams have all come true. Life has been good, made many people happy. But, unfortunately, I am not one of those happy people. I firmly believe that you can respect someone and their work, but also solemnly disagree with something they produce. And this is one of those times. Because folks, I am not going to lie to you. I hate Sonic Mania Adventures, and I hate Team Sonic Racing Overdrive. And why would those free YouTube shorts be a big enough deal to make me go and say a thing like that? Because it's the current appeal of this franchise, and it doesn't look like it's gonna stop. Hey, editor's note. This whole video was scripted and voiced before the Chow in Space animation came out, and I'm gonna say here that I actually don't dislike that one. I thought that one was fine. And I know you're gonna say that you're biased for the Chow, you're biased for Adventure. It's not that, actually. It's that it didn't really have any of the problems that I'm about to mention with the other shorts. And now this whole section is going to still be here because it's still a very relevant issue, and that's because of this little part right here. Yeah, this whole, oh, Sonic's in such a better place now, it's all hunky-dory because of cute animations on YouTube. Yeah, no, there's a grander problem that, unfortunately, this short was released in. And don't kill me when I say that. I like this short well enough. I'm really happy to see that the Chow in Space concept was actually brought to life in such a way, but that doesn't invalidate what I'm trying to get across here with this current era of Sonic. Anyway, editor's note over, back to the rant or whatever. Team Sonic Racing, the game, fizzled out and died before it could get any real traction. You know what hasn't? The cute little duo of animation used to promote the game. People still praise and reference it all the time. In fact, now that I think about it, I remember going for months without any real news about that game or any attempts to show me why I would want to play it. Like what I think is the most basic rule of advertising. No. Instead, the most buzz I saw the game garner was people fucking giggling over Tails saying,
"Who's your daddy, Shadow?"
Like, that's what I mean. That's the culture Sonic is now. That's the culture it's been for years. I'm sorry, guys. I really don't feel anything but cynicism when I see Sonic and friends make funny faces that are sold as meme merchandise the following day. I don't feel my nipples jiggling from laughter when we have an entire piece of animation dedicated to more Big the Cat jokes. I certainly don't think it's charming to watch Shadow refuse to help his pathetic friends and then bully baby Chow. That's not cute. It's not fucking funny. It's just obnoxious and an insult to his character. At the end of the day, I don't like these shorts at all because it feels like this.
Look at the funny face! Look at the funny face! Look at the funny face!
Once again, it's all relative. The PR pisses me off because of how the games are while they crack jokes about how bad they used to be, and the games piss me off because of how a social media presence has affected their approach. It all affects one another. It all matters. It all is what Sonic has become over time. It never ends. It all never ends. I can't take it. I'm tired of these shitty stereotype versions of our favorite characters. With the exception of Forces, Shadow is literally the version of a character we berated in 2005. Why is that what we fucking love about him now? Why is Tails consistently the worst character? Always some new variant of hiding behind rocks and being a little bitch for no reason. Wasn't the whole point of his character the fact that he could keep up with and help people? I could go on and on about how they butchered almost every single member of the cast. I'm tired of the we're self-aware, Blue Arms, Leg Day, Sonic 06, LOL, belly laughs. These stories suck more than the Dark Age stories they mock. Missed potential, abysmal dialogue, tonal dissonance, bland cutscenes, shitty voice direction, contrivances, you name it. I'm sick of needing to praise gameplay because it isn't a glitchy, broken mess. What a compliment. Thank God I can run in a straight line still. Holy jeepers, they were able to make a fully 3D level for a minute. I'm impressed. I didn't think they had it in them. I'm really excited to play these stages where I play them and do things and platform. Yes, this is good. I'm so done with nostalgia. Can we get one main series game? One game with a bunch of original content that doesn't need to wank itself off on the 90s or even 2000s. Just do something. Give me a game that looks good because it looks good. What happened to all the content, all the style, all the energy? Where is it? Where did it go? Like, why can't Sonic games try and amaze me anymore? Too ambitious, not necessary. Running through loops and making jokes. That's all Sonic is. Kids platformers, baby. I'm tired. I'm tired of good enough. I'm tired of settling for less. What other game series needs to do this? There always needs to be some condition for me to like Sonic now. It's never about a cool new game. It's always the same shit. It's not 06. It's not 06. We have to like it, because if you ever say you don't, if you take issue with this super duper cuddly, silly, happy, fun time direction of Sonic, then you'll find an army, a fucking militia, a legion of people who will insist that you're obviously not really a Sonic fan. You don't care. You're just as bad as the non-fans most of these games are now catered to. And maybe you're right. Maybe I'm not a Sonic fan. I'm not. When I got into the Sonic the Hedgehog series, it was a magical thing, like no other. I loved these incredibly colorful, diverse, and interesting characters. I wanted to follow them and see what kinds of new, stimulating adventures they'd get into. The character designs were so appealing, so iconic, that they alone brought millions into the world Sega had created, a sense of style that I felt was almost unparalleled. It's easy to laugh at kids on DeviantArt for making original fan characters do not steal, but in the first place it became such a wide phenomenon because of the admirable personalities and adaptable art directions these characters were brought to life with. I loved the exhilarating, high-speed gameplay that always added an incredible flair I could never get with Mario or Kirby. I don't want to jump on blocks all the time. I want to shred mountains, barrel through bad guys, make narrow escapes, and do all this while eating a chili dog in one hand. Or, I guess, a hot dog. I never liked chili. I loved the music that dared to be this cutting-edge, modernized stuff that, like, defined generations and shit. From as far back as the Genesis days, it was clear that the sound design was meant to invoke a sense of next-generation pizzazz, and from the moment they had to follow up on the success of Sonic 1, the music was pushed beyond being just video game music. You know, Sonic was never perfect. I think I made that abundantly clear. But there used to be such an effort to really make Sonic what he always was meant to be from the beginning. The most radical, awesome thing you've ever seen. Something that really makes you take a step back. Something that doesn't have time to worry about the slower, more drab feeling of other franchises. It was something that was always ticking, always making you think. And this didn't really even stop after Heroes either. I don't really like Shadow the Hedgehog at all for it ruining Shadow's storyline and being an overall bore or chore to play, but it was still really interesting that they bothered to end an arc with a game dedicated to a character whose popularity rivaled Sonic. I certainly don't condemn the vision, and I don't even feel opposed to it being more mature or fitting in with the other T-rated platformers at the time. I just can't enjoy the immature, try-hard execution with really sloppy decisions from a design and narrative standpoint. Sonic 06 was basically Adventure 3 on surface level, and even today, there are moments in that game that I honestly really admire. It really was supposed to be a large, passionate effort to make Sonic this next-gen, top-of-the-line figure, and it just went horribly wrong. But that didn't mean the idea, the heart the game had, was any less valid. That didn't mean Sonic couldn't be that incredible icon anymore. And you know, it may be the dark age of Sonic, but how about the fact that while we got 3D games on consoles, we get these fully 2D games as well, oftentimes being enjoyed by even the harsh critics of Sonic. I'll never forget the absolutely fantastic style the first two Sonic Riders games exuded. Need I even talk about Sonic Unleashed? This game used to be panned by the general public, but over time, so many people have come out and said the many great things this game has accomplished, be it the wholesome, world-trotting atmosphere, the beautiful visuals, stellar music, intense levels of speed, or the less heavy but still really heartfelt story. Not my ideal game, but holy cow, it was still a really epic experience that tried to evoke appeal in Sonic. Even after this era I've discussed where Sonic used to have all kinds of games I really enjoy, there was always something going on, something bold in the Sonic franchise, and I'll always respect that, even if I think there was a problem with consistent quality control. But now it's all gone. all that stuff is gone. They made this really beloved tribute to the entire franchise in 2011, and that's basically it. After that, they doubled down on this idea that Sonic should just be kids' fodder platformers, nothing more. Sonic doesn't need to have stories. Sonic characters shouldn't be pretending they're all cool. Sonic shouldn't try to have this mechanical depth to it. We just want to jump around on robots and make jokes. Well, make a joke they did. The Sonic franchise at the time of this video is carried hard. Carried by Sonic Mania, a game which emulates a time period where a game like it would be AAA stuff, and carried by social media relevance. Guys, when the best they have to say about Sonic in the last few years is that there's a large social media following, it only clues me into just how dated this will all be in the future and how much time was wasted. The one thing I still have in Sonic, the one thing I think they still have some level of pride in that I agree with is some really good music, but not even the ambitious productions I had before. And if that's all I got too, then this is it. You're all free to love what you currently love about the blue blur, but this is where I just have to stop buying these games and stop calling myself a fan of a series. Much like Pokemon, I'll always care, deep down, and I'll always want to know what's going on, but I don't take this series credible anymore. I used to love collecting the games and trying them out to get an educated opinion on them, but I don't support this. I hate feeling like Sonic is this thing for kids who spurt chocolate milk out of their nose upon hearing someone say the word butt. I hate that in order to be a respected figure in the Sonic community today, you gotta be a clickbaiter or a sellout. There's no room for divisive discussion. You gotta be positive. You gotta really flash your Sonic fan title. Heck, opinions of people who never liked Sonic matter more than those who have genuine concern. I hate that the best things they can accomplish all have to do with some meta concept that only has some kind of abstract meaning in the real world and no significant strong point of its own. In being self-aware, I think Sonic has become the least self-aware it could be, continuing to launch desperate attempts for publicity and recognition without realizing the things that made Sonic, Sonic. I guess this is how a lot of those really retro, old-school Sonic fans may have felt when the 3D stuff hit, but unlike a lot of them, I'll make a distinction. I'm not a fan of modern Sonic. I'm not a fan of classic Sonic. I'm a fan of Sonic, an entity whose spirit began in 1991 and died in the 2010s upon lack of care, appreciation, and recognition. And that's the reason I decided to have one final homage. Now, am I done talking about Sonic forever? Probably not. I'm sure one day they'll do something that piques my interest, but that day doesn't really seem near. Even the rumored Adventure remake is one I cannot feel excitement for, because I've lost all faith that they understand what made that game so special to people. Maybe one day I'll formulate an interesting take on Shadow the Hedgehog or Sonic Riders or 06 or whatever, but at the moment, I think I've staked my claim on this franchise. Now I think it's time to let loose a little. I hope that some of you will still want to see me around, but even for those who don't, thanks for watching this video series. And I hope I could provide a strong outlet for anybody who can relate.